What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video, and this is episode 169 of the SNA podcast. And this is the Wrestling News Part 63 or 2. Either way, I think it's 62. But yeah, where I'll be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories, rumors that you SNA fans need to know. And it's going to be from the Ringside News news article on December 11, 2023. Starting off with some AJ Styles news about his return. Right here it says WWE in-ring return looms on the horizon. According to this first article on Ringside News on today's video, it's AJ Styles. It says AJ Styles is one of the mainstay stars in WWE, coming from an established background in various pro wrestling circuits. AJ Styles forged a unique identity when it came to his WWE career. While he has been relatively absent since his SmackDown appearance back in September, it appears that he is going to be back on WWE program. As per a report from PW Insider's Mike Johnson, who revealed it on his Hotline show, Styles' return to WWE programming is imminent. It could be any week now, but this is up to the creative team like at creative team at WWE, who are figuring out the plans for him. Johnson also noted that Styles was initially supposed to be back 3 weeks ago through though there is no information as to why that didn't happen. Styles last appeared in entailed a match against Finn Balor back in September. He was written off TV after he was attacked by the Bloodline. Interestingly, Styles was even locally advertised for last week's SmackDown episode, but he didn't. But this didn't happen for reasons which remain undisclosed. I mean, not unclosed, undisclosed. Let me rephrase that. The return of AJ Styles will happen at a pretty significant time for WWE. Big names such as CM Punk and Randy Orton have already made big splash. With Styles back in the game, we can expect some of the most exciting matchups like that have taken place in recent WWE history. And when do you think AJ Styles' return is gonna be dated at? And when y'all let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it's gonna be as soon as this Friday SmackDown or the SmackDown afterwards, or even the first SmackDown of January, or even at the Royal Rumble, or even after the Royal Rumble, the Friday night SmackDown after the Rumble? What date that you would give AJ Styles the return? And do you think it's gonna be sooner or is it gonna be later? Yeah, let me know. But anyways, let's move on to the next wrestling news, and that is several released WWE superstars non-compete clause set to expire next week. The the wrestling industry is on a brink on a brink of a significant shakeup as a wave of free agents emerges following WWE's talent cuts back in September. Several notable names, including guys like Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, and Matt Riddle, have become free agents, making them hot commodities on the wrestling market. The talent cuts were a result of the merger between WWE and UFC into TKO, stemming from the acquisition of the Endeavor Group. As a result, WWE released a, a substantial number of wrestlers from both the main roster and NXT. Most NXT stars are subject to 30-day non-compete clauses. So, some main roster names. Some main roster stars were working in NXT and had to wait out 90 days. Wait out 90-day non-compete clauses along with the along with the rest of the main roster stars and from Raw and SmackDown. On December 21st, the following names will be free agents to sign with any wrestling promotion of their choosing. And here's the list: the likes of Mustafa Ali, Aaliyah, Shelton Benjamin, Rick Boogs, Dana Brooke, Daba Kato, Elias, Quincy Elliott, you, you, Yulisa Leon, Mace, Mansoor, Madcap Moss or Riddick Moss before he left, Matt Riddle, Shanky, Top Dollar, Dolph Ziggler, and much more. The availability of these talented individuals, the availability of these talented individuals is sure to create excitement and speculations among wrestling fans and within the wrestling industry. It remains to be seen where these free agents will land and how they will contribute to the ever evolving landscape of professional wrestling. And what do you think about these wrestlers that got released back in September, and also their non-compete clause is set to expire in 10 days from now, which will be the 21st, which starts on a Thursday, I believe, which I believe we'll be talking about that on the Wrestling News video on that week. Make sure y'all check that out. And what do you think? And also, what do you think about them being free agents by the time it's the first day of winter? And which company they'll sign with? Will it be AEW? Will it be Major League Wrestling, AAA, CMLL, New Japan Pro Wrestling, perhaps, or even TNA, which they still Impact until January of 2024 of the new year, of course. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below. And what shocked me the most was the likes of Dolph Ziggler and Shelton Benjamin being released. And you would expect them to be mainstays until retirement. But hopefully, if they still have the passion of pro wrestling, even outside of WWE, hopefully they get that success and move. And we'll be talking about them on the wrestling news, in our daily base on my daily base wrestling news video, of course. But yeah, I wish them the best of luck in their future in a much different environment, of course, or wherever other industries that they desire of doing into their new in the new career out of it. But let's move on to the next wrestling news, and that is some Charlotte Flair news as she pulled from WWE live event after suffering a knee injury. Charlotte Flair, uh, a stalwart, a stalwart, a stalwart of WWE television for nearly a decade. I television for nearly a decade has been an undeniable an undeniable force of the in the company. Her in the ring, her in ring, I should say. My apologies. Her in ring prowess and star power have left in like in the indel, indelightable indelightable mark of the wrestling world. However, the queen of WWE recently forced to set a, a, that has put her in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. On the December 8th episode of Friday Night SmackDown, Charlotte Flair stepped into the ring against Asuka in a highly anticipated singles SmackDown with damage control ominously present, ringside. Like the battle was intense, but in the end, the Queen fell short, against the Empress of Tomorrow. What followed raised concerns among fans. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I sure will. Yeah. You too. You have a good afternoon at work. See you this evening. Mm-hmm. Bye, you big galoot. Grandma's going to work. But anyways, yeah. Fans and WWE talent alike, reports that stated circulating that Charlotte Flair might have sustained an injury during the match in a distressing moment. Charlotte was seen clutching for her knee and crying out, "My knee!" With medical personnel rushed to personnel to rushed to her side after the match, adding to the apprehension surrounding her condition. The latest update, as a report by PW Insider, is that Charlotte Flair has been pulled from WWE's live events, scheduled for this week. Events for which she was originally slated to appear. The ex, the extent of her knee injury remains uncertain at this moment, or not at this point, I should say, leaving many in the wrestling community worried about the 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 serenity of the issues, the severity, and yeah. And I want to give out, and also while I'm doing this videos, video. While I'm doing this video, I want to send my wishes for a full and fast and speedy recovery for the Queen of WWE, and hopefully she comes back. She comes back from this injury soon, so she can step foot in the ring and continue her career, and even beating her dad's record like Randy Orton. But yeah, what do you think about this update? Like, do you think it's an injury or just some kind of a very bad bruise that's gonna be like more of a swelling rather than anything broken or anything dislocated or anything of the matter like that's a sustainable injury. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next wrestling news. Well, yeah, let's hope this doesn't interfere in her this injury. Let's hope it doesn't interfere in her wrestling career of trying to achieve her upcoming goals of being the star in the industry like that she is today. Let's move on to the next wrestling news, and it is WWE NXT star and anticipated to join tonight's Raw taping. Now, coming up on this article, it says the Monday Night Raw episode scheduled for December 11th, 2023 is guaranteed to give fans loads of action from top to bottom. Interestingly enough, from top to bottom. Interestingly enough, WWE NXT star is expected to be working the tapings as well. Tonight's episode of Raw will be broadcast live from the Rocket Mortgage Field House in Cleveland, Ohio. It promises to be a show full of solid moments that will keep fans engaged throughout. Like Becky Lynch is set to in ignite her iconic feud with Nia Jax on the show. As she will be calling out the irresistible force on the show due to all the history between the two. There is no doubt fans are excited about their confrontation. The biggest the biggest draw for tonight's show is definitely CM Punk finally revealing to the world which brand he will call his home. Whether if it's Raw, SmackDown, or maybe even NXT. And according to a PW Insider, it has been said that NXT star Von Wagner will be present during the Raw tapings. It was further added that he is likely to work the main event tapings. And what do you and what's your thoughts about Von Wagner? Von Wagner could be on tonight's Raw tapings and perhaps make some kind of an appearance. What if it's backstage or even in a match, making his proper main roster debut? Because he was drafted as a free agent in WWE. So that means he could be on both shows, at least at this time, unless Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce signed him to either SmackDown or Raw. But it seems like he's going to be doing a main event tapings like after the show. Like it says, like right here, like according to this article. But according to PW Insider, they noted WWE NXT star Von Wagner is expected at tonight's Monday Night Raw tapings, and for those eager to catch the highly anticipated episode of the Red Brand, Ringside News will be providing live played by play coverage of tonight's show. Over in our Monday Night Raw coverage hub, it promises to be a memorable episode for many reasons, so it remains to be seen how the episode will turn out. And yeah, make sure y'all check that out if y'all want to see what the recap is onto their Raw coverage hub on here exclusively on Ringside News is news article site. And make sure y'all check out my SNA podcast, the Raw review, which that will be right after Monday Night Raw goes off the air, live here on YouTube. So yeah, make sure y'all watch it to the very, very end because we're gonna talk about some very interesting stuff by then. But anyways. And yeah, and are you surprised about Von Wagner being perhaps, I would say perhaps, like likely be on tonight's Raw? And why would I say perhaps? But anyways, yeah, what y'all thoughts about Von Wagner being on Raw, and what do you think? What kind of angle he's going to be on, or is he going to be known as the newcomer, like someone like the Creed brothers, and he's going to win his first match on the main roster, or do you think he's just going to make some kind of a cameo appearance, like in the backstage area in the Rocket Mortgage home field, I believe that's what it's called, in Cleveland, Ohio, and because he's going to be, it says he's going to be it's gonna be a part of the main event tapings on Raw. But I think he could make some kind of an appearance, whether if it's inside the ring, wrestling somebody on the Raw brand, or it could be somebody on the Raw brand for the main event tapings. But most importantly, not most importantly, I'll say most importantly, and do you think he's gonna be like a mystery partner of a babyface team, or even like join the babyface faction against the Judgment Day, or even Imperium, or do you think that and he's gonna be just gonna be part of like a part with the other wrestlers that's in the Raw locker room? And do you think he's gonna get offered a contract by Adam Pearce on Raw? Let me know in the comments down below. But let's move on to the next wrestling news. But before I go to the next wrestling news and move on, I also want to note out that it's a few months ago, WWE has been reported that WWE see Von Wagner is as one of the guys that could possibly main event WrestleMania in the foreseeable future. And what's your thoughts about that? Do you think he's going to main event the Showcase of the Immortals? Only time will tell, and let me know in the comments down below as well. And we got some news about Vince McMahon loved the Mark Henry sexual chocolate character, as Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, is mostly remembered for the near infinite strength level. There are several remarkable moments from his career which will be remembered for a long time, such as Randy Orton's iconic toe touch after pile toe touch toe touch after delivering an RKO to him. However, he also had a very unusual gimmick with his sexual chocolate character during the Attitude Era. Apparently, Vince McMahon totally loved it, despite being initially uh, dismissive. That's initially dismissive towards it. In his appearance on the latest episode of the Kurt Angle Show, Mark Henry opened up about how the sexual chocolate character was born. He said that when the nation broke up, and after that, everyone had a shtick, but himself. That's when he watched Eddie Murphy's Coming to America, inspired him to create sexual chocolate. He said, "Sexual chocolate was my invention, number 100%. No one, no one, not one writer, my bad, not one writer, nobody. Me and D'Lo were driving after the nation, and the nation broke up. So, so everybody was starting to go and do their own things and trying to figure out what was next. You you had a you had a Godfather go his way. You had a Ron Simmons go his way, and his way just be Ron Simmons, of course. D'Lo had the chest the chest protector. I was effing kind of just like out of the cause just effing I was effing kind of just like out in the code. I was like, you you know what? Man, I just saw this movie, Coming to America, of course. They had this band called Sexual Chocolate, and I just loved the name. He's like Sexual Chocolate, and I just said, yeah, and I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna kind of be a ladies' man, and I'm gonna be this. Henry Henry had first pitched the idea to D'Lo, who was dismissive, like of it given how Mark Henry wouldn't get permission to say the words on live television. However, the world's strongest man was determined to pitch it to Vince McMahon. After a lot of convincing, McMahon gave him 8 minutes, which he used a convey to uh, convey like the direction like he'd chosen with the idea. And he also added, I went out there with Val Venus and Sean Morley. I said, "Hey, man, anytime that I don't, I mean, every time I down you and leave leave you, just stay there. I'm going to do enough to put you down, but I'm going to leave you. It's going to feel like a long time, but it's really not. Really, it's not. They're gonna be looking at me. He was like, "Oh God!" Like he didn't want to do it either. We're wrestling around. We do our normal sugar honey iced tea. And then about that time, he fires up and I give him a power slam. Bam! He's down and I jump up and look at the hard camera like, hey, what's up? I I get out of the ring. I go and I started talking to this girl in the front row. I said, "Can I have a hug?" And she gave gave me a hug. Then Sean like was like, I told him the came referee came referee came like I told you the referee came morally like you got to get back in the ring. I tell ring tell him to stop me. Then Sean comes out. He was like bang bang, and I turned around. Boom boom. I pressed I pressed him and threw him in the ring, and then I go back to talking to the girl. Hey, maybe later on we can and do this and this. Man, we finished the match. I come in the black. I come to the back, and Vince is like, "Come here, you you big son of a bitch, done you big son of a bitch, done." And he loved the sexual chocolate. Loved he loved it. And sexual chocolate is one of the most memorable characters in WWE history. Earlier this year, the Hall of Famer explained on on the Attitude Era podcast that his gimmick wasn't the punishment that many fans still believed it to be. He said that he said like that during the Attitude Era podcast, there there had to be gimmicks that caught people's attention. Henry further in phased this by saying that those who stay mere wrestlers didn't go down in the history books. And what's your thoughts about the sexual chocolate gimmick of Mark Henry was his idea the whole time? And what you thought about it from him just because he watched the movie Coming to America by Eddie Murphy, which I never thought of that in that way. When I was back watching the replays of Mark Henry having that sexual chocolate gimmick, especially when he was in that on-screen relationship with Mae Young, I was like, where did he got the sexual chocolate character gimmick? I didn't ever thought too much of it. Maybe perhaps I thought of it like once before, but it was like I was like, it's probably an old saying, from African Americans for saying that catchphrase, like when they're being hilarious, like. But I never thought of it like being like I never thought of it him specifically getting the character from the actual movie, like from Coming to America, like. I was like, like they probably have. It's probably some kind of a black saying, of course. Like if you guys know what I mean, but no, like it's more to the. Like it was more likely with him getting afraid, like just because he watched the movie, and since he was splitting up with The Rock and D'Lo Brown and the Godfather and Ron Simmons as the Nation of Domination, he had to come up with some kind of character so he won't be an outcast of the former group. which that was probably a blessing in disguise. And luckily, Vince McMahon gave him the green light, and then it all started when he had that match against Sean Morley and Val Venus in that triple threat match, which that's when he started being more of a ladies' man character, and then which he was known as his character, the sexual chocolate. Which I would say, if if I had this sense, and if I was even here, because I wasn't even I wasn't even biologically being created like inside my mother's belly when he was that character. Like I was more like I was born when he was in the start of being the world's strongest man at the time. But watching replays, I never thought of it being a punishment. Never thought, me personally, like the older fans thought it was, like in their time, like watching WWE. But I'll say perhaps I was thinking of like maybe if I was thinking like if Mark Henry thought of this, it was probably because of like like an inspirational of be like a phrase that African Americans use when they're being more of a, how the way to put this professionally, uh like I would say the word ignorant, like which is another word for funny, like you're being idiotic, like in a funny way, but not like they're not really dumb or stupid, but they're being funny. Like I've thought of it like, yeah, I thought of it if he was being funny, like the funny phrase, like, but I never thought because like that band on the Coming to America movie, they call themselves Sexual Chocolate, which is sex and chocolate for short, I believe. But I never thought of it, and him knowing that. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about that in the comments down below. And what's your thought about him being that character, especially when he was in a relationship with Mae Young, which that it's very uncomfortable when it came to him basically impregnating her in like and on the show, of course, not in real life, and then her giving birth to a hand, which that's very odd. But say anything can happen in WWE. It's more fictional than a cartoon, your typical cartoon series. But anyways, let's move on to the next wrestling news, and that is like former WWE star eyes potential Royal Rumble comeback, and it says right here, like I said, and like R. Arian Andrews performed under the name Cameron in WWE, but she has yet to step back into the ring for quite some time now. It it has been some time since she last stepped foot inside WWE inside a WWE ring, and now it seems she is open to a Royal Rumble return next year. Cameron made her surprise WWE return during last year's Rumble, where she was immediately eliminated by Sonya Deville. Ex WWE star Naomi stated that she would always have Cameron's back. After the match was over, Cameron might be hoping for a better showing next time she's in the WWE ring as well. While speaking to Steve Fall, Arian Andrews was asked about making a return to WWE in the future, especially during next year's annual Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Andrews made it clear that the door is always open for in her phone is available for the call. Should WWE want to happen, want that to happen, she said, the door is always open it's very difficult to say they though, because right now I'm very focused on PTW as of now. Our next show is February 8th, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work running a whole damn company, especially in the in the caliber of sports entertainment. If the opportunity is there, though, my phone is available for the call. My bad. Andrews Andrew also claimed that WWE asked her to return after her Royal Rumble appearance last year. Only time will tell whether Andrews will make her return to WWE at next year's Royal Rumble Premium Live event. And what's your thoughts about uh, Arian Andrews making another return for the Royal Rumble like she did last year? That'll be y'all mark 2 years since she made her first return, like at the Royal Rumble, reuniting with her former Funkadactyl teammate Naomi, which she walked out with Sasha Banks like 3 months later, or four. No, it was May, so 4 months later. But yeah, that's a story for another day. But anyways, but yeah, what do you think about Arian Andrews, the former Karen, not Karen, Cameron, my apologies about the not Karen. The only Karen that's in the WWE is Chelsea Green. But anyways, what do you think about Cameron making another Royal Rumble appearance like in 2024? And do you think WWE is going to finally bring her back and sign her into a full contract? Well, I'm not sure about that, because she said she's working at this independent wrestling promotion circuit called PTW. So we're gonna have to see what's gonna be next for Cameron. If she did ever made a WWE return, if they give her that call to be a part of the 2023 or 2024 annual Royal Rumble match on the Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Yeah, only time will tell, I guess. But yeah, but yeah, give me y'all's predictions in the comments down below, and also who you want to see returning at this year's Royal Rumble, whether if it's in the men's side or the women's side of the Royal Rumble match. Leave a comment below, and I'd love to hear y'all's predictions and y'all's predictions and y'all's choice on who's gonna make their return at the Royal Rumble, which is the same as it's like a prediction, more determines, I should say. Y'all gotta use y'all's choice of that y'all determine who's gonna be at the Royal Rumble. Of course, yeah. Will Ospreay's transition plans unveiled before joining AEW. Will Ospreay previously defeated AEW Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door back in June 2023. That led to Will Ospreay becoming the New Japan's IWGP United States champion. Now he's set to face off against some uh, fierce opponents ahead of his eventual AEW debut, and that too for an entirely new title. And it says right here, NJPW chairman no Milwaukee so no Milwaukee no Naoki Sagata Sagabe Yashi, like Milwaukee Tabata, Shug, 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 Shugab Shugabashi recently made statement at a press conference on Monday. In the statement, he clarified that the IWGP United Kingdom Championship, which was introduced this summer, confused fans as an upcoming outcome, I should say, as an outcome, both the the UK and US IWGP championships will be unified into the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. The IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship came into being in July 2017 to mark NJPW's first major event in the United States of America in Long Beach. After its introduction, it it became the symbol of NJPW competition in the USA. In the in the years that followed, the title would be defended in in Japan, becoming familiar to Japanese fans as well. However, with the introduction of the IWGP UK Championship, this summer, there was a confusion among fans as to the status of the title. Like, with it being stated that with that in mind, the this new championship combines and adds to the US and UK championship roles, like in and will it will be excuse me, called the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. The statement further read that Osprey is going to be in a match uh, against none other than John Moxley and David Finlay, which will decide the fate of who becomes the new IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. The match is going to take place at New Japan Pro Wrestling's annual Wrestle Kingdom event on January 4th, which is, I believe, is Wrestle Kingdom 18, because last year was just 17. But anyways, but as a result, January 14th, not 14th, January 4th, third way at Wrestle Kingdom between Will Ospreay, John Moxley, and David Finlay will finally determine the first IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. Ospreay recently agreed to the term he was offered by AEW at AEW Full Gear. He explained that it was part of his plan to conclude his deal with NJPW before finally transitioning to AEW, and that he would likely make an appearance at the Revolution 2024 pay-per-view. And what's your thoughts about NJPW unifying the US and the UK IWGP Championships into the turning it into the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, which it sounds like more like a world championship rather than a mid-card championship. Maybe that's what it is. It's like a heavyweight championship version of of the mid-card champion, the United States Championship, which that would WWE would have put it in there. Which that would probably, which is like their like would WWE make their United States Championship into is a mid card championship, but the way the championship look, it looks like upgrade, an upgraded world championship version of the original United States Championship design, of course. But yeah, what's your thoughts about that being the global? Who do you think's gonna win? Is it gonna be Will Ospreay? Is it gonna be David Finlay? Or is it gonna be John Moxley? I'll say whoever it is gonna be between Moxley or Finlay, because I think that AEW would want him to have some even bigger. They have some bigger plans than what fans would expect from the aerial assassin. That's what his nickname is, but from the aerial assassin and all elite wrestling. And what do you think what he's going to be doing in AEW? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's move on. We got some strong ticket sales indicate a high demand for 2024 WWE Elimination Chamber. WWE has been on a roll since last year, as the company is truly in a boom period like right now. Anything the company does turns to gold. It does turns to gold as WWE continues to build up hot stake with each had every premium live event. In fact, even Elimination Chamber looks to be a record breaker as it always sold many tickets. The Elimination Chamber premium live event will be taking taking place at taking place in Perth, Australia on February 24th at the Optus Stadium, as fans are extremely excited about the event already. The stadium has a cap have a cap a cap have a capacity of 70,000, but WWE is expecting to use 55,000 for the event. According to PW Insider, Mike Johnson, it has been reported that WWE Elimination Chamber has already moved more than 45,000 tickets more than 2 months before the event even starts. The Elimination Chamber Perth event has already moved in a like a access excess I should say, moved in excess of 45,000 tickets. WWE will be sending talent there shortly to do promotional work to push the show. WWE's Elimination Chamber Premium Live event will be providing a $33 million boost to the Western Australian economy. The event is expected to draw fans from all over the globe and will be broadcast live in approximately 165 countries in 25 languages, uh, reaching more than 1 billion homes. Therefore, Therefore, one can expect the event to break all sorts of records, which has become WWE's modest op, op, operandi over the past year. What is your view on WWE already selling so many tickets for Elimination Chambers? Will it sell 70 tickets in the end? Sure, yeah, but yeah, well, yeah. Let me. I should say this part right here. What your take on this? Are they gonna sell over 55,000 tickets and maybe even 70,000 tickets, or do you think they're gonna be only like up to 50, like near 50, like but maybe less than like 55,000? Like it depends on who's gonna be going over to Australia to watch the show. Which I believe Rhea Ripley's definitely gonna main event the show and defend the Women's World Championship. I don't know who it's gonna be. It could be Raquel, it could be Shayna Baszler, but expect it to be like a standing ovation to the Eradicator in her home country. And what do you think about Austin Theory and Grayson Waller? Do you think they're going to be in a tag team match, like getting a standing ovation themselves, like and maybe even perhaps be a baby face, like with the A Town A Town Down Under, I should say, are getting more popular right now, and even Grayson Waller even challenged Travis Kelsey into a WrestleMania match for the honor of Swifty. Well, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with this, but I'm just saying, like, because of making a statement of them being popular as a tag team on the SmackDown brand as of late, like from the past 6 months, like of being on SmackDown and being as a duo. And now they're currently in a feud with Kevin Owens, which I believe he needs some kind of a backup buddy to be feuding with these two, which I believe he probably know just the person. Maybe whoever this guy is, he could be making a call up. Some say it could be a Carmelo Hayes because he teased that he would want to be the NXT mystery guy to be a part of this United States Championship tournament, with him holding the old school John Cena custom made spinners United States Championship, with him sending a picture of it on Instagram. But who you think is going to be the guy? And let me know also about that in the comments down below, which don't have nothing to do with this, but yeah, but it has like where it's like where it's like less than 3/4 of a way. I'll say like about a dozen thousand tickets away from selling out. Of course, like in minimum wages, but in maximum it's 70. So even if they sell over 55 tickets, you still might have a second chance of getting an opportunity. But that's like probably in the far back, like that's kind of like in the nosebleed seats, if you know what I mean. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think. We're going to move on to the next news, and it is Kevin Nash shed light on the circumstances that halted CM Punk match. And we got some news from the former WWE champion and also the member of the NWO and the Outsiders. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash has accomplished a lot in his long and illustrious professional wrestling career, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean he has been able to do everything he wanted to in his career. This this includes a match with CM Punk that never came to for us never been uh fru, fruition. The summer of Punk back in 2011 was supposed to be one of the best things, featuring the Second City Saint. After all, he was the WWE champion and was arguably the biggest star in the company. However, Kevin Nash got involved for some reason, and CM Punk's storyline suffered greatly for it. They didn't even compete in a match, as they as that honor went to Triple H instead of Punk, who faced Nash in a widely panned match while speaking on his latest episode of his Click This podcast. Kevin Nash discussed the storyline, stated that Triple H was in was ir, was irritated by CM Punk. He hin he added that Triple H was was sabotage the the whole sabotage was sabotage the whole storyline, ensuring that Nash never faced Punk. He said, "It's funny now that Vince has taken a back seat to this whole thing, that I see Paul, he owns he owns it now, like he has ownership of that company. As far as when they say when they say he's creative, his his demeanor, he is in completely control of the situation. There has there has never been anybody of his talent in the ring. He has with us, and we were all ruthless, and we were all very driven for our success. It's such a different Paul now. When I was supposed to wrestle Punk, he got under he got under he got under Triple H's skin so bad. Paul just came up to me and said, "I'm I'm going to beat him. I'm going to beat him. You're not going to wrestle him. I'm beating him. Cool. That's why me and Punk never wrestled. He made the call. I gotta beat this effort." Excuse me. What what do you make of what do you make of Kevin Nash said about the cancel match with Punk? Like, are you disappointed Triple H ended up running the whole plan? Like, share, yeah. Well, I'm gonna say that part, but yeah, what do you think about Kevin? What do you think about Kevin Nash revealing that Triple H is the reason why the match between him and Punk was canceled, for the fact that he didn't like CM Punk at the time, and he didn't agree with. most of anything what he did in the WWE. And excuse me, what do you think about my bad? What do you think about Triple H being the reason why? Because I think he beat him at SummerSlam, or was it Night of Champions? I think it was SummerSlam. Yeah, it was SummerSlam. What do you think about him beating? And what do you think about CM Punk beating getting beat by Triple H at SummerSlam, and then Triple H took his place of facing Kevin Nash at Night of Champions? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But it's kind of disappointing in a way. Like, I wouldn't mind Triple H wrestling his longtime best friend Kevin Nash. It's just the fact that he was the reason why he canceled. Was the reason why that the match had to be canceled with him and CM Punk, which it should have been that match, to be honest. If I'm being very honest right now, they should have had a dream match, because they booked it and they planned on it and they were hyping it up, like with Kevin Nash kind of being the cost of the reason why he lost the WWE Championship when he powerbombed him right into the canvas, and having Alberto Del Rio going in the ring and cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase in order to become the new WWE champion. But yeah. But yeah, what's your thoughts? I think it's kind of disappointing. Like, and I would say I'm not gonna throw any shade or hate onto the game and the current head of creative. I'll say even if he wasn't the head booker of WWE now, and he's making most of the wrestlers on this roster more, like, have more TV time and have a fair opportunity, but more of a fair opportunity and do less cuts unless if it's Endeavor's call to do so. Otherwise, he would probably keep him on the show and find them something to do on WWE television, on WWE programming, I should say. Let me rephrase that. But yeah, what's your thoughts of that? And I figured they were supposed to wrestle, because just by looking at, like, with Kevin Nash doing that jackknife powerbomb onto CM Punk, it looks like there was going to be a hype up, like, on what's next for the Chicago-made star and Big Daddy Cool, which unfortunately we never had a chance to see that. But that would be something to look forward to see, like, in WWE. But let's hope that Kevin Nash can get back in the ring shape and just to get a dream match from the Chicago-made star. This time with CM Punk and Triple H on the same page and trying to put on a great show for WWE. And they already passed their differences, and they let bygones be bygones. Like, ever since the beginning of this year, when he visited the Monday Night Raw tapings in Chicago, Illinois, when the last time they were in the Allstate Arena, and he met up with some old friends like Kofi and Tamina. What's that? Nobody Mina. And also apologized with the Miz, like, with their differences, and made up with them too, because that was nearly over a decade ago, if not already. Well, back in 2011, that was obviously over a decade ago. That was like 12 years ago, a dozen even years ago. Like, so, like, whoever they had beef with, like, since then, like, they dumped it, like, they dumped it, like, and if you. Yeah, and like Triple H said on that press conference, like, you're something wrong with you if you acting the same way from 10 years ago. There's really something wrong with you. Yeah, and I kind of agree with him in a way about that. Like if you haven't changed, like, there's definitely some kind of a disorder that you're going through, and you need to get it. You need to get it you need to get it examined, I should say. You should need to get it examined and get the help that you need, because, like, people are going to change, like, whether if it's in a good or bad way, like, whether if it's in a good or a bad way, the best thing is to be the better person. And then if the person don't change, just stay away from him. That's my best recommendations. But yeah, that's my ideal of the situation, like, of this beef between CM Punk and Triple H. But he's like, if he's willing, but now, like, Triple H doing his head booking and being a head booker and creative. Like he doesn't even care what happened in the past. Like that doesn't matter when it comes to running this business. Like if he's willing to do business with me, I'll be more willing to do business back. Even if he didn't apologize, even if he didn't, if he still hates me to this day, if he's trying to be willing to be on the same page with me in the making WWE a better wrestling business, I'm more welcome of signing them back and bringing them back, like which Triple H said in the past as well. And I think even Vince McMahon came up with this. That's the only thing. I was like, yeah, that's the only number one thing I think that Triple H got that from Vince McMahon. Like in my opinion, like he like said give pretend you're the audience. Like if that's the case, how come Vince McMahon most of the times sometimes put things half the time he puts storylines and come up with creative decisions that fans do not want to see. With him telling this to Triple H, say, "Be your own audience before you become their audience." Like of have them become your audience, I should say. Yeah, for my vice versa. My apologies. But yeah, what Vince McMahon saying, like sit here, be in the fans' perspective of what the fans want to see, and you give it to them, like when that storyline comes to play, of course. But yeah, that's the number one thing I would agree on with Vince McMahon. Like we're giving them that advice with Triple H, but sometimes he can put on lackluster events. Well, that's because they said that he does not have the eye in professional wrestling anymore, and he don't really understand, especially these days. But but yeah, well, let's hope with that Kevin Nash does get a dream match. He wrestles one more time just because of CM Punk's back in WWE, and we can set the scores and they finish what and they can finish the story that was canceled like 12 years ago. Do it one more time. Like that's why I think that should happen indefinitely. Even though Kevin Nash is like way past his 50s, if not 60s. I think he's in the 60s now. Like so, I don't know if they could pull it off. Maybe so, maybe not. Only time will tell. Let's move on to the next wrestling news, and that is. And we're gonna end this video today. Or no, we got another video after this one, like which we're gonna end. But yeah, but first off, we're gonna talk about some Eric Bischoff news now, as he explains why AEW needs to book small venues. During the pandemic era, AEW rose as a definitive competitor to WWE and even seemed to outperform them at several points. However, things are a bit different now, and several critics have taken note of this. Eric Bischoff is one of them, and he recently gave his 2 cents about how AEW's strategy to book bigger venues, like venues, may be a de a a detriment, like a detriment to them in the long run. On the latest episode of his 83 Weeks podcast, Bischoff spoke about AEW's standard move of booking a large venue. However, he noted that they are only able to sell tickets for less than half the capacity. He added that this can be countered by booking smaller venues and adjusting the venues based on how many tickets there able to sell. And he explained why this approach is bigger. He said, you look at AEW and they are going to 10,000 seat arenas, and they and and they are blocking it all over. Not all over. Let me reread this article so you can be more of an understanding. You look at AEW and they are going to 10,000 seat arenas, and they are blocking it all off, and they are having a hard time selling 5,000 tickets. So right off the bat, you are spending money on an arena that you are only using half of the real negative impact that has its that energy. I would rather have like 3,000 people in the right venue than 5,000 people in the wrong venue. The reason for that is that those 3,000 people in the right venue are in the venue that is built for four or even 3 or 4 thousand people, and smaller arenas that is filled shoulder to shoulder creates an environment. It makes a more fun. It's like going to a bigger, cooler party, and the energy is so much different. When you get your people in the energy in the environment is noticeably different. It's also different on television. You feel it. You feel it like you see it. Bischoff then wonder why AEW is going with this approach, like since they are struggling with it. He 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 emphasized emphasized by organizing shows in in a smaller venue. AEW will be able to uh, will will cultivate a different energy in the audience, as well as the in-ring talent, which which w which is going a have a positive effect on viewers watching from home. He added, for whatever reason, they are booking these big venues, eh, and they are struggling. One of one other I saw one the other day. They are scaling these things down like to 4,000 people with 4,000 people wide get to a 10,000 seat arena, when the energy and vibe have this as dissipated. Go to smaller venues, the energy will be different for the talents. In the ring, the energy will be different for the audience. The consumer experience will be greater, and the energy you deliver to the house will be noticeably different. Your viewers at home will actually feel better about watching your show. In the same episode, Eric Bischoff criticized how AEW is suffering from a parasite that is Ring of Honor. Previously, Tony Khan purchased Ring of Honor and has recently delivered on a promise of starting a weekly television show. On his 83 on a previous episode of 83 weeks, like the former WCW CEO spoke about how uncomfortable he felt backstage in the day at WWE, which used religion. He recalled when Farouk and Bradshaw of the occult a coal a colit a coal a coletes become him a henchman a heck a col a colith a colits became henchmen to the evil version of the Undertaker. It had has rendered him uncomfortable. And I think they talked about this on the Wrestling Inc. Article yesterday about Eric Bischoff, or him talking about that on his 83 Weeks podcast a couple of days ago. And what's your thoughts about that too? And what's your thoughts about Eric Bischoff's what's that his problem solver method to that he advised AEW to do? Like they have these 10,000 fan venues, like and they only keep getting like between 3,000 to 4,000 fans a week. So he's like, what to solve the problem? Like you should find like 3,000 seated venues, like for 3,000 seated venues, or even 5,000 seated venues, to get like 3,000 or 4,000 fans to be in attendance there. Like so, it could be so they can save more money and not pay double for. Well, they're only gonna get half back of their profit. Like so, like what's the point of doing that if they're gonna get like you should do something that's gonna get at least like your profit. You're going to make like a profit and a half, or even double your profit of your budget of when you have a budget of a certain amount of money, like for the venue and the fans and the show, like with the show and everything, like have everything ready for the fans to pay for their tickets to watch the upcoming wrestling events. But yeah, I'll say maybe that could be the case because, like that old saying goes, less is more. So maybe you should go back to square one and for even though you can afford 10,000 fans, but it doesn't make any sense when it comes to the profit. Like, of course, like when it comes to profit wise, I think it should be. When it comes to profit wise, I think you should get enough seats for the fans that's gonna be a regular, unless you be noticing that the fans are growing higher and higher, and then even have more fans, like even over enough fans to watch the show, like, and then that's when you should be, and this when Tony Khan, this is where Tony Khan should then go right on to. Then Tony Khan should get the 10,000 seated venues in all over the country and all around the world. Well, I'll say the country in America, of course, in American pro wrestling. Like maybe Eric Bischoff's onto something, even though he's have a reputation of criticizing AEW ever since he haven't ever since he Ever since he made after he made a second appearance with AEW, he started criticizing the product from the past couple of years. Like since then, like when he made his couple appearances, like with his first appearance being on the what's that, the like that little debatable segment, that debate segment with Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Like in the second time, I forget what was the other one. It was like another debatable segment, but yeah, it was like it was another debatable segment, just like the Cassidy and Jericho. But since then, he been noticing what's the product in and outside of, noticing what's the flaws in and outside of the AEW product. Like, and he's gonna be and he'd be criticizing it every single week on his 83 Weeks podcast. Like, but yeah, he might be giving some kind of an advice for AEW and Tony Khan himself. Like, if he's not trying to waste no money of spending spending on venues that he hardly has fans of. He hardly has fans of paying for tickets as it is. Like, he could make it easier by getting smaller venues, and then it's like, and yeah, it is a different atmosphere. Like when it comes to small, not just because of the size, but because of on how it mimics like the people that's inside the building. Like yeah, like a house party. Like if you're gonna have if you're gonna only have a small amount of guests into some kind of a get together, you should have like a small venue, like a small place. But if you're gonna have like a much more of a smaller place, but if you're gonna have a big party with over thousands of guests, like then you're probably gonna need a bigger house for the house party. So yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. Like unless you're gonna get at least that many fans, yeah, that the best recommendation is to. So you won't have to worry about having an embarrassment of some fans be like some of the half of the fans that's off camera is like is in the front row, and the rest is in the front row, and then the rest is up, and the rest of the top is hardly any fans. It's like complete, like simply empty. You could say, but and then the other side where Tony Khan prefers them to be on, like which is in the where what's that the camera that's pointing out on TV, like the television cam, like the cam that's on this side, they have the AEW. Like on the other side, like it looks like it's been sold out, like it's a sold out arena, but it's only like barely a quarter half sold by Tony Khan, which Tony Khan should take some pointers on this. He can ignore Eric Bischoff from the other comments he made from the past couple of years of not making another AEW appearance because there's things that he does not like what Tony Khan's been planning and booking for AEW, like on television and for the business in general. But well, I would say you should take this recommendation of being on smaller venues, and then once you start growing again, then you start getting the bigger venues once again, and starting to be a sold out a sold out wrestling company, I should say, that always sells out they always sell out their tickets and their seats, and that sell out seats, of course, yeah. But yeah, it looks completely embarrassing when fans take pictures about the other side where the camera don't point out at, which is up in the top of the audience and into the bottom part of the arena, like like which I'd say section D, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Correct me in the comments. Correct me in the comments below, or if I'm wrong. Like if I'm wrong, of course. But yeah, it's right at the bottom part. Like when even this guy on Twitter named what's his name? Julian Weeks. Like he shows like the venues, and I even tweeted to him. I was like, man, like what an embarrassment, like what an embarrassment reality or something like that. And I even got a couple of likes from that. Like, but I'm not trying to make fun of AEW. I'm a huge AEW fan, but perhaps Eric Bischoff's right on one thing about this. Like, you should get somewhere that's going to fit only the amount of fans, or at least most of the fans that pay in as an attendance of watching it live into the venue, like where they bought the tickets at. But yeah, just an advice from Super Ninja Austin. I'm gonna say it more in a encouraging kind of way. At that point, you can start making that money just to start upgrading again. Like even though you don't need to upgrade, but the more you're gonna keep paying for 10,000 seated audience like venues, like it's gonna be more money that it's gonna be that you're not gonna have, and it's gonna and your profits are going to go way lower than it already is, right, with the ticket sales when it comes to ticket sales, of course. So my best recommendation is the cut it half for now, and then even if the fans start coming back and start being the start being more be more big in a live fan base, like being over if it's over like 10 or 20,000 or even 20,000 fans that are watching, which it's only 3 for now. But I would say until you can get 10,000, I would say get like at least like the highest you could get is like 5,000 seats, 5,000 seats at a venue. That's a much more of a smaller venue where to get you 3 or 4,000 fans, like to be in attendance, and then if they start continuing and even give them discounts too, I'll say my best recommendation is for them convince them to be a live attendee on the show is the discount the tickets, and then now and then even put on some you continue to put on a great show, like what if it's Dynamite, Collision, or even Rampage, which that's a taping with Dynamite, of course, but along with Ring of Honor too, or Ring of Honor, like on television, and that will help out, like make ticket sales be more better and better, like give them discounts and even some kind of a deal, like you put on a great show, like and make them and convince them of watching the shows. Like what if it's Ring of Honor? What if it's Rampage, which they will watch? Well, I'm not sure if they'll watch Ring of Honor, but give them a reason why to watch Ring of Honor and give them more exclusive professional wrestling matches, of course. Yeah. But yeah, but you fans, let me know what y'all think about my opinion and my advice to Tony Khan, even though it's not much, but something that would make the fans want to watch more of it, even though if it might not make sense for now, but once you start doing it, like get that, and even put like a quarter of a three, like it's like a quarter like it's a quarter price, like they priced it down to a quarter, like what it usually would be, or if not half price, and then they'll make them want to pay more and give them some interesting storylines on and make them convinced and let them know that, like, watch until the very end and give them a cliff, and even if it's a cliffhanger, tell them that, like, if you want to wonder about more, like just stay tuned, like whether it's on TV or if you have the money to get tickets to go on our next show, just make sure you make sure you have your flight. You have your flight money and your ticket money for a ticket to your flight and your ticket to the show, so you can watch the AEW show. And even lower down the price of the snacks too, like whether if it's popcorn or candy or even food, like whatever food y'all have in the venue, like make sure you have that in the drinks. My best recommendation, even though it's shrimpflation, shrimp, shrinkflation, or inflate, shrimpflation, I should say. But still, like I know it's gonna be hard, and that's gonna lower down the profits even there. But like, trust me, this will work. Like every single fan would go to your show. Like whether if they're a richest fan, whether if they're the middle class fan, whether if they're the poorest fan, and they don't have the money for the tickets, like there'll be a show that for them to watch that they'll never seem to forget. Like if you put on one of your great shows and you lower it, continue halving down the ticket sales, if that makes sense, of course. But yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next wrestling news now. Like, sorry if that took long for that to explain me of that. Like, of of what Eric Bischoff's coming from, but I kind of agree with him in a way. And do you agree with Eric Bischoff with this very convincing kind of advice to Tony Khan about his AEW shows about not getting 10,000 fans fan audience seats if you don't have any 10,000 fans? Let me know in the comments down below. And we're gonna end this video with some Braun Strowman news, which we haven't heard from this guy, from this guy since nearly since the beginning of this year. I would say maybe in April or May of 2023, if you ask me. But we're going to talk about some Braun Strowman news as he receives green light for weight training amidst injury recovery. And it says right here, Braun Strowman was one of the top stars on Friday Night SmackDown for the past year until he was put on the shelf due to injury. He had surgery for his neck afterwards, and was been rehabbing since now. Strowman has gotten the green light for weight training while he continues to recover. But yeah, that's it. Raw. I meant SmackDown because yeah, that's right. He didn't got drafted until, or did he? I think he did got drafted right before he got injured. I think he got drafted with Ricochet. It was, yeah. No, I'm not wrong. I'm right. Yeah, but yeah, he was teaming Ricochet at the time, but since he got injured, they took him off. They put him on the shelf, and he had to get some. He had to get what surgery was it? Neck. Get some neck surgery, I should say. Yeah. But also, the Monster Among Men had to undergo fusion neck surgery to fix his long standing injuries. Back in June, it says since then, Strowman's been on a mission to nurse himself back to full health while keeping busy with other activities. While speaking with Sportskeeda WrestleBinge, the former WWE Universal Champion shared an update on his condition as Strowman has been absent from WWE television since May. Yeah, it was May. It was right after he got drafted to Raw with Ricochet, of course. But anyways, disclosed that Roger in May, Strowman disclosed that he has been given the green light to start weight training, but still has no timeable for his return. For his in-ring return, I should say. For his in-ring return, he said, "Good. I just recently got cleared to fully start weight training, and staff like that still got a little bit of process left, but don't worry, the monster is coming back home. No date. You know when I come. No date. You'll know when I come back." And it says Braun Strowman also warned CM Punk of impending violence impending violence recently. With Braun Strowman also has a huge opponent in mind for his WWE return. We will have to wait and see when Strowman will be able to make his triumphant return to WWE television, as fans certainly missed him already. And what do you think? What do you think about Braun Strowman is slowly but surely recovering, and he can be able to weightlift again because now he's from his neck, cleared from his neck of doing so, I should say. He can start weight training into his training at the gym. And what specific date do you think he's going to come back? Do you think it's going to be at an upcoming Raw show, like perhaps in January of 2024, like anytime, like before the Royal Rumble, or do you think he's going to make a return at the Royal Rumble in the Royal Rumble match? And if that's the case, then do you think he's going to win the Royal Rumble and even main event WrestleMania against either the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns or even Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship? Or do you think that's going to be Cody Rhodes or CM Punk or Gunther? Or do you think it's going to be after the Royal Rumble at the post-show Raw? Leave your opinions in the comments down below. And also, what do you be doing even if he did show up on Monday night? I mean, anytime before Monday Night Raw, or after Monday Night Raw, what kind of programming he'll be doing, or even he makes his return at the Royal Rumble and then at the post-show Raw a couple of days afterwards. Do you think he's gonna be in a program with sort of like a Gunther or even a Judgment Day, like with Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, which I don't think, or do you think it'll be Big Bronson Reed, which I'll say I'll put my money on him, if not a Gunther. I would say he'll probably be in a program with Big Bronson Reed, but stay tuned for that. But whenever he's making his return, the date will not be today at December 11, 2023. That's my prediction, the way I see it, because he just said this recently, like a day or two ago. He just got cleared to weightlift into his training. So he's just slowly but surely recovering. But my prediction would probably be at the Royal Rumble, because he looked like a kind of guy that they would wait until the Royal Rumble before he'd be announced that he is, unless they have something better in mind. But I think the Royal Rumble is going to be perfect and suitable for him to be making his in-ring return, if that makes sense, of course. But yeah, that was your wrestling news video, and that was the list of the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know. And also, which one was your favorite? Like on today's video, on today's wrestling news video in December 11, 2023. And what you thought of it? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully I wasn't too sluggish or stutterish. But I'm trying to make sure I come up with the words and think about it. And hopefully I didn't drag this video too long, even though it's been nearly 2 hours of making it. But if you did love this video, make sure you hit the big thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell notifications so you can be the first one to be notified when I upload a new video. And make sure you continue to watch all my latest SNA podcast videos about everything in the world of professional wrestling, which that's going to be the only thing I'm going to be talking about at the moment, until I can be doing some reviews for movies and anime, animation, sports like football, baseball, basketball, and etc. Yeah. Everything that's in the sports entertainment world, or even just sports or just entertainment. I'll be talking about that, and even sometimes I'm gonna be talking soon, and probably and most likely very soon. I'm possibly going to be talking about something educational, talking about something about how to make and build solar panels and electric cars, because my great uncle wanted to do a little project with me on this YouTube channel with Super Ninja Austin, because me and my mom been telling him about that recently a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, I want to do a little project with you on YouTube, because I know you know how to do some of the stuff on social media. So I want you to you to get ready to be doing some researching, which I haven't done yet, which that's a shame, but yeah, he's been an electrician for years, like my grandfather, which he like which they got into this electrician business, like along with my other two great uncles, like which it was the four of them, like being a successful professional electrician in our local, like in their local town, I should say. I would say, because they're from, I mean, they're currently living in the town that's near me, but we visit them from time to time when we have family gatherings, like, of course, yeah, like, like what families would do, like, but let's just say it was kind of like a little funeral gathering, like, but it was like, because my third cousin sadly passed away, so we